Woohoo! We are live, and this is the Math 60 chapters 5 and 6 practice test. Woo! Yay! And before we get started, I wanted to start off with a reminder of the differences between the practice test and the actual test. On the practice test, there's no time limit. You can take it a bunch of times. You're allowed to ask anyone anything. You can ask me, you can ask your friends, you could have a whole math chapter 5 and 6 practice test party. You can, whatever you want to do, go bonkers. Lots of shenanigans. Actual test, no shenanigans. Time limit, 90 minutes. Retakes, no. You take the test once. Open book notes, can you ask your friends? Can you ask your favorite mathematician? And the answer is no. This is intended to be a way to decide whether or not you have understood everything that I have said. Okay, so let us get started. I will remind you that the way that Canvas sets this up, there's a good chance that your test and possibly even your practice test will look really different from mine. However, hopefully it's got the same basic stuff, just maybe in a slightly different order. So make sure you have your calculator ready, some handy dandy highlighters, and supportive friends to help you through. Okay, so let's get started. This is going to be chapters 5 and 6, so it covers a lot of material. I've picked out a few things, just key things that I'd like to ask about. It does not cover everything in the chapters, so hopefully you're not too disappointed. But the first question is multiply and simplify your answer if possible. And yes, I've given you, oh my goodness, this horrible problem. Now for the practice test, I've typed up this PDF, which you can download and print out if you'd like. For the actual test, I do not have a PDF, but I do encourage you to have paper of some sort so you can work out the problems. They will be more complicated like this, so they won't be problems you could just do in your head. Okay, so if I'm going to multiply these three, I'm going to look very carefully at them because I've got 3 binomials to multiply, and I know this is going to get complicated. However, if I happen to notice that the second 2 are actually, oh my goodness, my brain just went blank. They are the go-togethers. Oh my goodness, platonic split aparts. What is their name? Oh, this is terrible. Obviously, this is not why I'm paid the big bucks. Anyway, I will probably remember this and be screaming it tonight at 3 in the morning. But these two in mathematics are paired. Let's take a look at y. I've got x plus 3y, and I've got x minus 3y. So these two go together like fraternal twins. And when you multiply them together, it's a plus b times a minus b, which is our, that's the formula we look for a difference of 2 squares, or if you want a product of a sum and a difference, depending on which end you're looking at. So that's what I'm going to work on first. I'm just going to work on this, x plus 3y, x minus 3y. Now, what if you can't remember the formula that says it's a squared minus b squared? That's fine. You can always FOIL this out. First, x times x, outer, minus x times 3y, inner, plus x times 3y, last, minus 3y, times 3y. So altogether I get x squared minus 3xy plus 3xy minus 9y squared. And then these two cancel out, the O and the I. And so all we're left with is F and L, fleu, or a difference of 2 squares. So if you notice this, then you could do this part of the multiplication right there. If we call this blue, that's there right there. And then that simplifies the rest because the second part is x minus y, and then times x squared minus 9y squared. Now, will you still get the answer right even if you do it in a different order? Absolutely. We have a property of multiplication. It is called the commutative property, and it says that it does not matter if you have to multiply three things. It does not matter which order you multiply them in. Okay, so there's our blue piece. Again, I'm going to use FOIL once more. So let me draw a line here to visually separate these two pieces. First is going to be x times x squared. Outer is minus x times 9y squared. Inner, minus y times x squared. And last, minus a minus, which makes a plus, y times 9y squared. And altogether I get x cubed minus 9xy squared minus x squared y plus 9y cubed. So there's my answer. And it looks to me like I don't have any like terms. So I think this is as simplified as it's going to get. I've got an x cubed leading, and they all have x cubes leading. Okay, I've got a plus 9y cubed at the end, plus 9y cubed, plus 9y cubed, plus 9y cubed, plus 9. Okay, it's not this one. This one's too short. Okay, and then let's see, I've got a 9xy squared minus 9xy minus 9xy squared minus 9xy squared plus 9xy squared. That one's out. Okay, minus x squared y minus x squared y plus x squared y. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but I think this x cubed minus x squared y minus 9xy squared plus 9y cubed, I believe this is the answer. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yay! And we're 10 points done. Yay! Okay, next up, numero 2. And bunny fur. Bunny fur does help on tests, but if you don't have bunny fur, it's okay. It's probably better for your house not to have bunny fur everywhere, but you know, it does make things interesting. Okay, look at this cute little piece of math. Doesn't it look cute? It looks so little. How could this even hurt us, right? So multiply out and solve by factoring. So this cute little thing, there's actually a lot going on. And you'll notice that I've got some weird answers. And what's going to happen is on the actual test and on the practice test, you're going to see that I've split it up rather than giving you both answers at once. I'm looking for your first answer and your second answer. Now, you may get these in a different order, but basically you see the first answer is going to be a whole number or no solution. And the second answer is probably going to be the fractional one. So that's what we're looking for. Let's see what we get. I get b times the quantity 4b minus 5 equals 6. First thing I'm going to do is multiply out, because that's what it says to do. Go ahead and multiply. So I get 4b squared minus 5b equals 6. Now I'm told to solve by factoring. So that means I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 4b squared minus 5b minus 6 equals 0. Okay. Now, I hear you asking me already, how are you going to know whether we can factor this or whether we use the quadratic formula if you know that or another method? And the answer is I won't know that. I am giving you the instructions that were given in this section. So, you know, I'm recommending solving by factoring. Will I know if you use another method? No. The goal here is that you do know at least how to solve this, even if you're not using the method I'm asking you to use. So, but let's go ahead and try the factoring because, you know, that's what I asked for. So what does factoring look like? Well, factoring looks like hoping that we come up with a couple of things here. Now, there are many methods for this. There is the AC test where you multiply these two and then you add and you do all sorts of fun stuff. There is the X method, if you know it. Ooh, it's hard to do an X. There we go, an X method. And then there's trial and error. And, you know, trial and error is usually the way that I work at it, but, you know, it's up to you. I've got 4b times b or 2b times 2b, 2b or not 2b. And then I've got -6, which could be equal to all sorts of things. And this is where people usually say, you know what, I don't really want to do trial and error because there's just too much going on here. And I totally understand that. All right, we got so many options. So let's see, we've got 2 possibilities for the opening, for the beginning, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 endings possible. And so I've got, without really thinking about it too hard, I've got at least 16 possibilities. Now, it's possible that I might be able to shortcut that a bit. And that's going to depend on how much experience you have. I've pulled out some extra paper, and it's important to throw things off the desk. Just throw them off the desk. So that way the math knows you're not kidding. Just throw random pens, you know, just be like, that's it. Pink pen, gone. Okay, so this is number 2, continued. So for me, I've got, let's see, 4b minus 6, b plus 1. 4b plus 1, b minus 6. 4b plus 6, b minus 1. You know how this works. 4b minus 1, b plus 6. What would be awesome is if I had actually planned ahead and had these all written out for you, but I don't. So we're going to get this in real time, because I don't remember which one the correct one is. So I got through all of the possibilities for the 4Bs, and then the other ones are 2B. And then I remember something really interesting, and that is that as long as I'm starting with 2B in both cases, and again, this is trial and error, if I'm starting, they match. And so here where I made -6 times 1 and 1 times -6, I switched the order. I don't need to do this because if I switch the order here, since these are both the same, if I switch the order, it doesn't change it. So I get to shorten this down just a tad. Okay, so I am hoping to get a -5 in the middle. And so of all of them, let's see, can I try? I'm going to try this one, 4b minus 3 times the quantity b plus 2. And I'm going to get 4b squared plus 8b minus 3b minus 6. So this gives me plus 5b. Now, what am I looking for? Minus 5b. So if I'm looking for minus 5b and I got plus 5b here, then I want everything to stay the same. I just want to change my sign. So let me come down here. 4b plus 3b minus 2. So the opposite signs. This is 4b squared minus 8b plus 3b minus 6. So that's 4b squared minus 5b minus 6. Oh my gosh, we got it. We got it. Yay! So is your method faster? Oh my goodness, I hope so. I hope you've got a faster method than I do. Put a big arrow there. And then I'm going to rewrite this problem. right here. So where you've got 4b squared minus 5b minus x equals 0. And we have discovered that this factors as 4b plus 3, b minus 2 equals 0. Oh, thank goodness, I'm almost done. So do you have a faster method of this? I hope so. In other words, I hope whatever method you're using, you're getting really good at and you are feeling comfortable with it. Keep practicing, especially those of you going on to calculus. This is something that comes up all the time. Why did I write out all the possibilities here? Well, it's one more chance to show you how that's done. If you're using the AC-TEF method or the X method or some of the lattice method or the Godzilla method, I got to come up with the Godzilla method. It may go faster. You may not need to write all of this out. So remember that once you've got it factored, at this point, you are in the home stretch. You either have that 4b plus 3 equals 0, or you have that b minus 2 equals 0. So either b equals 2 or b equals negative 3/4. Woohoo, down at the bottom, right? Because we've got the 0 property here, which tells us one of the two factors must be 0. Okay, so put this in a different order. Here we go. So here, my first answer. Well, it's not my first answer. It's my second answer. But I do have one answer that's a 2. And then I do have one answer that's negative 3/4. That's it. It's a surprisingly long problem for such a little tiny piece of math. The good news is even with me being goofy and throwing pens, we're still under 20 minutes and we finished 20 points. Yay! Woohoo! Let's keep going. We're almost halfway through the test. Yay! And then everything goes because we get to the everybody's favorite division of rational expressions. So again, this is a test that covers 2 chapters. So first 2 problems are polynomials, and then the last 3 are going to be rationals. So let's look at these rational expressions. I would like you to take g of x and divide it by h of x. G of x is x squared minus 4 all over x squared minus 49. H of x is 4x squared plus 8x all over 2x plus 14. And then what do we do to divide? You go ahead and change it to multiplication and flip the second expression, the second rational expression or second fraction. Ooh. So this guy gets flipped over. And then what I recommend is that you then factor. So this is where, because I heard some of you saying, well, wait, I thought this test would be all about factoring. Haha, it is. X squared minus 4, difference of 2 squares. X plus 2, x minus 2. X squared minus 49, x plus 7, x minus 7. So these are both difference of squares. This 2x plus 14, wait a minute, common factors, x plus 7. And then 4x squared plus 8x, ooh, 4x times the quantity x plus 2. So let's take a look. Let me see. I did just throw my pink pen, which was rather rash of me. Wait, was it rash or rational? I know, right? Don't give up my day job. Okay, let's start canceling. Cancel Rama. Here we go. X plus 2, x plus 2. Anything top to bottom can cancel. Let me see. Sorry about Smeary Town. There's x plus 7, x plus 7. Now, I know a lot of you are about to scream. Don't scream. It's okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. I've got x minus 2 and 2 up top, and then x minus 7 and 4x. Now, it's possible when you are reducing, you might have skipped one. And in fact, I'm looking at this saying, oh my goodness, I missed one. So I can go in and cancel this 2 with that 4. Okay, so then I get, let's see, x minus 2 on top. And then down the bottom, 2x times the quantity x minus 7. Okay, so that's what I think the answer is. Let's look at our possibilities. X minus 2 times over the quantity 2x times x minus 7. It's right there. First one up. Woohoo. And you'll notice that the other ones are very similar. This one, I'm trying to see if anyone thinks these x's should cancel. They don't cancel, right? Because this x is part of 2 terms inside a single factor. Don't ever cancel terms. And then these other ones are just in case you made mistakes with the signs, right? The differences are the signs. So just be really careful with your signs. And woohoo, we're done with 3. That's awesome. That one went really fast. Woohoo. Oh no. Now, gotta be honest, this is one of my least favorite things in the universe, is addition and subtraction of rational expressions. Yay! Okay, but bring your support staff in, bring in your supportive friends. If you have a support staff, awesome. Bring in your friends, have some hydration ready. We can totally do this. We're gonna do it. So, perform the operation, it just needs subtract, and simplify the result if possible. Generally speaking, I try to copy the wording from your homework so that even if it's goofy in your homework, it's what you're used to, so that I'm not pulling out any surprises suddenly. So I've got x plus 6 all over x minus 2 minus all over 2 minus x minus 10. Now, I need a least common denominator. There are 2 ways to do this one. And I picked this one specifically because it's kind of an interesting one. You could take x minus 2 and multiply times 2 minus x and come up with a least common denominator. But I claim the least common denominator is x minus 2. How is that? Well, let me take x minus 10 all over 2 minus x, just that second. So this one is the second fraction, the second rational expression right here. Ooh, I haven't used orange in a while. I'll use orange for the first one. So there's our first one. There's your second one. And so with the second one, I'm going to take it and I'm going to multiply top and bottom by -1. So -1, so it becomes the opposite of x plus 10, the opposite of 2 plus x. This is 10 minus x all over x minus 2. Whoa, mind blown. X minus 2, x minus 2. So you see how this is 2 minus x? You can change it to x minus 2 by multiplying top and bottom by a -1. Okay, so where does that put us? Well, it puts us where we can start the problem. So I've got x plus 6 all over x minus 2 minus, and now I've got 10 minus x all over x minus 2. Notice that, let's see, there's my orange one. There's my yellow one. Notice that we've got like terms. Like totally like terms. So when you subtract, the 2 denominators have to match. And up on top, and I need to make this much bigger, we just subtract x plus 6 minus 10 minus x. Okay, so this is going to be x plus 6 minus 10 plus x all over x minus 2. So it looks to me like I've got 2x minus 4 all over x minus 2. So far, so good. I can factor out a 2 up top. And then, and I find this one very satisfying, we're going to cancel the x minus 2's. We totally explode. Pew, 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 pew. And the fraction is gone, and all we have left is the 2. We have saved the universe from fractions. Yay! And the answer, and I know it seemed a little silly, possibly when you looked at the possible answers up here. These seem much more likely, but the actual answer is the number 2. Isn't that cool? Everything cancels. Yay! Now, in the actual test, there will be many different versions of this problem, so just practice these addition and subtraction. They will not be brutally difficult, but they may not be exactly the same, depending on the version you get. So practice and let me know if there are any questions, obviously. Oh my goodness, are you guys excited? I'm excited. Woohoo. Now, this problem I had to think a bit for. And why did I have to think? Well, I know you're all thinking, wait, we probably should avoid this. You should not be thinking too much. And I agree, I should not be thinking. I'm old and my brain hurts all the time. I'm sorry, bad news. Yeah, everything hurts after a while. And so number 5, I thought about it, and I'm giving you what is a really hard problem, but it is to solve an equation. And if I ask you to solve an equation and then I give you possible answers, I hope that on a multiple choice test, you would look at the answers and plug them in and see which one works, right? I would hope, because you guys are brilliant, you guys are thoughtful, and you should, you know, if you're given options, take them, use them, do them. Okay, so I didn't do that because I'm mean, probably because my brain hurts. So notice what the possible answers are. They are not actually the answers. I'm giving you that there's no solution, there's one solution, there's one extraneous solution, 2 solutions, one is extraneous, or 2 solutions, both are extraneous. Wahahaha. So in other words, I'm basically forcing you to do the problem, and you're going to describe to me the situation you get. Okay, let's do it. Should be fun, right? Yay. So first thing you'll notice is it's not as bad as it could be. When is math ever as bad as it could be? Well, grad school, that's when it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the least common denominator, and we're going to clear fractions. You do not have to clear fractions. I know some of you know how to do this problem a slightly different way. Go for it. But the way that I always learned how to do it is find the least common denominator. We've got the same denominator. Now, we also have it over here. Ignore it over there for right now. It's not a denominator. Remember that over here, we've got it over 1. Right? If anything is just sitting there without a fraction, it's actually over 1. So my least common denominator is x minus 5. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to say, note, do not let the pigeon ride the bus or drive the bus, and do not let x equal 5. Because if x is 5, then we get 5 minus 5. That's a 0 in the denominator. That is no good. So first thing, let's make sure x is not 5. Now remember, that's going to go into the possibility that there are extraneous solutions. If x equals 5 is one of the answers, then we've got an interesting situation. So x should not be 5, and let's go ahead and multiply by x minus 5. Again, if I get really, really quiet, it means that I actually have to really concentrate. It's a lot that could go wrong here, so I want to be very careful. Notice that what I've done is we've taken this x minus 5 and we've operated it. We've given it to every single term on each side. So on the left side, there are 2 terms, 2 of them, and on the right side, we got, well, I didn't give it to each of these. I give it to them as a pair, but it'll get multiplied out. Okay, so the good news is that on the left, they cancel. Oh, thank goodness, right? So I end up with x minus 2 plus x minus 8. But then over here, I end up with x minus 5 times x minus 5. So I'm going to have to multiply this out, which I will do in the next step. So far, so good? Okay. So then I get x minus 2 plus x minus 8. Basically, I just pull them all out, and I get, let's see, 2x minus 10. Over here, I get x times x minus 5 times x minus 5 times x plus 5 times 5. And you could also be doing this using the square of a binomial, right? If you have the square of a binomial memorized, more power to you. That's awesome. Okay, so make sure you have lots of paper to do this test because this is a lot of writing. You don't want to be trying to do this in your head. So this is number 5. So I've got 2x minus 10 equals x squared minus 10x plus 25. And I want to solve this, right? So what we've done is we've taken an equation with rational expressions and changed it into a quadratic equation. Okay, so this is awesome. I'm going to move everything over to the right. Oops, sorry about that. Do I have my handy dandy make it go away? Yes. Oh my gosh, these are the best. They turn back time. They're like Cher. Not as cool. I just realized I need to bling mine up a little bit. Okay. 35. So it turns out this one's not hard to factor because 35 only breaks down 5 times 7 or 35 times 1, right? It's the product of 2 primes. So it's pretty quick to get x minus 5, x minus 7, and double check because we get negative 12 in the middle, double check. Woohoo, yeah. So x minus 5 equals 0 or x minus 7 equals 0. So we factor it. The quadratics, we always factor. Now, do you know the quadratic formula? Possibly. Do you know how to use it? Possibly. Could you use it here for this? Yes, I would never know, but I'm going to use, again, I'm going to factor it. Plus 5, x equals 5, plus 7, x equals 7. Okay, so now what do we do? Well, again, the possible answers are not the actual answers. I want to know how many solutions there are. Well, we've got 2 solutions. So we know, nope. We got 2 solutions. One is extraneous or both are extraneous. Okay, so let's double check. Sorry, I took you to Smarry Town there. Okay, so we know this one is extraneous, right? Because we already said, don't let the pigeon drive the bus. Don't let x equal 5. A great book, by the way. So let's try x equals 7. Let's check this out. Okay. Oops. Can I do it like this? This is my whole life now, trying to figure out how to make all of a problem fit into a video screen. Okay, so I've got x minus 2 over x minus 5 plus x minus 8 all over x minus 5 equals x minus 5. Okay, so I've got 7 minus 2 over 7 minus 5 plus 7 minus 8 over 7 minus 5. Does that equal 7 minus 5? So let's see. I've got 5 halves plus negative 1 half. Does that equal 2? Well, 5 halves plus a negative 1 half is 4 halves, which equals 2. Oh my gosh! X equals 7 is correct. So I've got this answer, and then I've got an extraneous answer. So let's take a look. 2 solutions, 1 is extraneous. Does this mean that the problem you'll get on the test has exactly this answer? No, the super fun thing is It could be that there's one extraneous. It could be that there are two extraneous. It could be nobody's extraneous, which is unlikely, but it's possible. So make sure you do all the work. Now, the good news is, what's the good news? We're done. And we finished in 35 minutes. And I know the math. So, and I was guiding you, so it's probably a little faster. But I'll remind you that the tests are available for 90 minutes. So you still would have an extra, 55 minutes to think about things. So just make sure you have lots of paper. I think a calculator, less important right now, but I mean, it certainly can help with your factoring, and make sure you write down things. Do not try to do too much in your head. And that's it. Dance party. We finished the practice test. Sorry, that should have been a quack. And make sure you ask me any questions if you have any before you start the test, because again, once you start the test, you got to finish the test. So definitely ask me ahead of time if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a great day, get some exercise, see if you can find some sunshine, eat maybe a green vegetable or any vegetable really, and have a great night, because you're awesome and amazing and incredible. I will talk to you later. Bye.